This is the story of 3 bad dates in LA. All of these dates were people that I met online and decided to chit chat a little bit with and then to go meet up with. So let me see, who should I start with? There was a guy that I met, I don't even remember. This was pre-apps. We didn't have Grindr or Tinder. This was just on your computer. I want to say it was gay.com, old school style. Where you chat with people. It wasn't even cam chat. It was like they look at your little pictures and then they send you a message. It's kind of like you do on Grindr, except on your computer. Anyway, so this one guy, he was a writer. He's written a couple really successful horror movies. He's still alive and working in LA. I see him occasionally at Starbucks, and we kind of ignore each other like we never met, which is very strange, I suppose. But so I went on a date with him, and the first thing he told me was that he is a recovering alcoholic, and I have no problem at all with that. I was fine with it. I'm like, that's great. He's knows his issues and he's working on it, and I think that's pretty admirable. Actually, that was not a problem for me at all. So we went on one date. I don't know if this is an important part of the story, but I had long hair when I met him. So we went on one date and it was great. I think we met at Coffee Bean or something, and we just talked. And that was it. We talked and we planned on getting together for another date. So that was great. Yeah, so then we did get together for another date, and we went to, I think we had lunch at a little pizza restaurant. And I had buzzed all of my hair off, actually. That was one of my times when I had just taken the clippers and just taken it right off, like right down to the scalp, all over the place. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I feel like he liked me with long hair and he didn't like me anymore with my hair short. Like, he wasn't attracted to me anymore with my different hairstyle. But the second date went really badly. He was on his phone most of the time, and I understand he's, busy. He's writing and producing and directing and, working. He's busy. But there's something about being on a date with somebody that can't put their phone down and they kind of ignore you the whole time. That just doesn't feel good. I mean, you can't put your phone down for 30-35 minutes and just not respond to text and say, hey, I'm going to be unavailable for a few minutes. I'm in a meeting or just, you know what I mean. Anyway, so toward the end of the date, he said he was really busy and he wasn't going to be able to see me for a little while. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I'm not the clingy type, and I was going to be fine with it. But I think it was like a couple of weeks later, I messaged him and I asked him how he was doing. And he just kind of ignored me. And I was just like, okay, whatever, it's over. I guess he's just not into me, and that's fine, and I'm not going to worry about it. But the funny thing was, I went out with friends to a bar, not famous, but a popular gay club in LA. And I was there, and my friends had gone to the bar, and I'm standing at a table, just hanging out. And I see him walk in, and he is clearly super duper drunk, like off his ass drunk, can barely walk. And he kind of looks at me, And I look him in the eye and I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do. And he just kind of stumbles by and walks by. And yeah, that was the end of that. I think he, obviously had slipped back to drinking. And I don't know if that had to do with why he didn't want to date me anymore, or maybe he just wasn't into me, and that's fine. But I don't know, it was just odd, and we never kind of ended it because I do see him. I've seen him probably 10 or 15 times since at Starbucks, and I sort of look at him and I just kind of like act as though I'm looking at a stranger. I don't know if anyone else ever does this, where you kind of look into somebody's eyes and you kind of play it off like you don't know them, even though clearly you know them. So anyway, that was one of my dates. Another one, let's see, which one should I tell you next? The date where this was a guy who was a hairstylist, and he had mentioned that he had styled hair for an 80s artist's album cover. And I happened to be in a store a couple of days later, and I actually found the album cover, and his name was on it as hairstylist for her. And that was pretty cool. He was British, and I always do love an accent. Man with an accent. And he was, he's a decent looking guy. He was just an interesting person and witty and nice to talk to. So it was the same thing where I met him online and we met up. And I think the first time we met basically at Starbucks or something, and we just met and talked, and it was cool. And we decided would go out again. So the second time we went out, we went to the movies, and it was very strange because I'm normally super early. I'm always early to everything. But for some reason, that was my phone, by the way, that buzz. Sound like a fart, kind of. um, so I was late to this movie for some reason. I don't even know why. I was a couple of minutes late. The movie hadn't started or anything, but I was supposed to meet him at a certain time, and I was a couple of minutes late. So it was weird because he got so nervous. He was nervous that we were going to miss the beginning of the movie. I think we might have missed a preview or something. And he got diarrhea because he's so upset about it that he got diarrhea. And then during the movie, he had to go to the bathroom because he had diarrhea. And then, so after that, the next interaction I had with him was an email that he sent me that said, oh, I'm so sorry, I met someone else and I really like him and it was really nice to meet you, but I've met someone else. And that was the end of that one. So I was like, fine, whatever. One more. This is the shortest date in history. This guy I also met online, and he was actually out at the time. And he's like, oh, I'm at this particular bar. Why don't you come and meet up with me? So I did. And I walked in and we started talking for like a few minutes. The first thing he says is, there's a lot of Asians in this bar right now. And I was like, oh, okay. And the next thing he said was, oh, I rode the bus here. There were so many Mexicans on the bus. And he was clearly a racist jerk. And I just looked at him and I said, okay, well, it was nice to meet you. I have to go. And I just basically walked out the door. And he kept texting me the whole way home, like, what happened? What's the matter? Blah, blah, blah. And I guess I probably should have said something about, you're a racist pig and I really have no interest in dating you. I just like blew him off and I just kind of didn't say anything about why. And then that was the end of that. He was so drunk anyway that I'm sure he probably recovered relatively quickly, met someone else, and that was the end of that. But yeah, that was the shortest date in history, probably 10 minutes max, not even. I'm not sure exactly where that shut off. The camera stopped because the card is full. Anyway, the whole point of that story was this guy was a racist jerk. The date was a couple minutes long, and then that was the end of it. So that was. I can't even think of any other dates. I don't think I've ever had dates that went well. Have I? That's kind of sad. I'm trying to think of good ones, but I can't really think of anything. I'll think of some for next time. Maybe. If I can if I can. Anyway, that's dating. That's my dating life in LA. That's it. Bye.